In this lecture, we will learn about the origins of the Toyota production system and how it contributed to making Toyota the largest automobile manufacturer in the world. Japan in the late 1940s. After its defeat in World War II, the country lies in rubbles and is occupied. The factories have been almost completely bombed down. As a result, the Japanese economy is shattered. In this environment, Kiichiro Toyota struggles for survival of his company. A decade ago, he took over the business from his father, Seikichi Toyota. At this time, Toyota was a loom manufacturer. The looms were designed in a way that they would stop production whenever a problem occurred, for example the tearing of a thread. This function, called jidoka, became later a key principle of the Toyota production system. Already before the war, Kiichiro Toyota started with production of cars and was quite successful. But after the war, the economic situation and the regulations of the occupation forces almost set an end to the business. Suffering from severe raw material shortages, the company was forced into strict frugality. As an example, they had to produce cars with only one headlight and brake. To improve the situation, Toyota sent a few engineers to the United States in order to learn from the most successful automobile company of that time, the Ford Motor Company. A delegation led by engineer Taiichi Ohno visited the River Rouge plant in Michigan. There, they witnessed the world's most sophisticated serial production of cars, with huge volumes of automobiles going from the assembly line each day. Of course, the Japanese engineers were impressed. However, they knew that they didn't have the resources back in Japan to put months of supply on stock in order to keep production flowing. Instead, what really took their attention was a supermarket in which they dropped in on the way back from the plant. They didn't know self-service markets from Japan at that time, but they loved the principle that customers could choose exactly what they wanted, when they wanted it, and the quantities they wanted. The engineers introduced the supermarket principle into their production system. This allowed them to operate with a smaller inventory and therefore on a lower budget. The principle is known as Kanban in TPS. We will learn in detail about Kanban later in this course. Another thing the Japanese engineers noticed was how Ford reacted on errors in the production. The Americans still used Henry Ford's principles to maximize output. When a problem was detected, they kept the production running and tried to repair the defect afterwards. Toyota, however, used the principle from their looms called jidoka. The workers had lines that they could pull whenever they noticed an error. This halted the production. The workers then solved the problem immediately before continuing production after a short check. Therefore, no waste was produced. These principles, amongst others, formed the Toyota production system that became the basis for lean management. TPS made Toyota's production extremely efficient. They only needed on average 1.7 man-hours to complete the car, whereas their competitors in the United States and Europe needed a multiple of that number. This made Toyota cars very affordable and therefore the popularity rose quickly. Especially during and after the oil crisis in 1973, customers preferred the small and efficient Japanese cars to the big American vehicles. As a result, Toyota overtook Ford and became the largest car manufacturer in the world. They still hold this title up to today thanks to the superior quality and efficiency of the Toyota production system. Today, many companies learned from Toyota and introduced lean management. Two well-known examples are Boeing and Intel. But also institutions like hospitals used lean principles to shorten the waiting time in their ER. In the next video, we will go more in detail into one of lean's core principles, waste.